Good afternoon, everyone. We are live across Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. I was doing a quick tally up before I jumped on this call with John. It goes out to potentially 50,000 people. I know that algorithms don't work as well as that, and the 50,000 people won't see this, but there is potential for it to go out to 50,000 people. So if you are watching this on live, say hello. I think you have to enable something on StreamYard to do that. If you're watching this on replay, then any questions, any comments, pop them in below. I won't do that thing that loads of people do, where they go, please click hashtag replay. So it looks like you've had loads of comments, because like everyone knows that you're doing that. But anyway, I digress. Good afternoon, John Mears.
How's it going?
I am very well. I briefly caught some of your drumming action before.
Yeah, before the copyright strike got taken down.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yep.
Oh no! Oh, I didn't know they still did that, because you even put a disclaimer on.
I'm going to put. Well, I did. Sorry, I did put a disclaimer on there, but it doesn't matter to them. I think it's all automated. It's like if it matches their like database or something, then they just take it down. Like it's not even dealt with by people. It's only if you contest it, then it's dealt with by somebody basically. So I'll probably contest it.
As Elon Musk said, he hopes the robots will be kind to us, and that's another example of that. So first of all, huge thank you to John. Lots of hopefully you'll be able to click on this on your Facebook and share it later if you want to. I know you've got a reasonable following yourself around the world and on YouTube and stuff and Facebook and all that jazz and stuff. But we are continuing with our Relentless interviews with members. And we're just trying to give a sort of cross-section of who's joined us, why, where they're up to in their FX journey and stuff. So it's just interesting to have you on, John.
Let me tell you, you can have a very entertaining conversation with me. You're going to really enjoy it.
Yes, stay tuned. Because you're, I mean, full disclosure, and we're extremely transparent at Relentless. You've been a member before and left, and you've come back as a member. But before we dive into any of that, as I did with Roger today, you just want to give us a brief overview of who you are, 0 to 20 life, a bit of an overview, what you're doing at the moment. I know you're a bit of an entrepreneur yourself. What stuff you've tried? Give us a. I'll grab me San Miguel. Obviously,
I was going to say before we start on that, how much time do we actually have? Because there's a lot. There's a lot.
I mean, at some point I'll need to feed the kids at maybe 6ish or something. But we've got time. But I'm more than happy to sip on my San Miguel. As I mentioned, that if you do want to sponsor these chats, it doesn't have to just be San Miguel, because they don't pay us any money. If anyone wanted to sponsor these, please get in touch and reach out. We're more than happy to put your banner across the bottom. So, John, what's your name and where do you come from?
So, my name's John Mears. For a good 10 years or so, I did sales. So, I'm very familiar with sort of like sales and marketing and talking to people. Like, I'm quite confident talking in any situation, really. I think, like a lot of people, I was sucked into that what's the word? The societal bullshit that tells you that, you know, the only way to succeed in life is to spend 45 hours a week working until you retire and die, basically. So, and I kind of got sucked into that for a considerable amount of time, and I actually thought the way forward was actually doing that. Like, I jumped into sales, and to be honest with you, I actually really enjoyed sales. I actually I enjoyed the element of actually having somebody come to you for help, and then, you know, you help them and then they walk away a happy person. You know, I liked that idea. But after going through a couple of sales companies, I kind of realized that that it's all about money, and I couldn't get behind that ethic. I didn't like it. I didn't like the idea that the money came first and the customer came second. Like, the customer.
What sort of age was this? So where were you born? Where do you live? Was this at the age of 16 or 18 or?
So this, like, up until probably about 19, I wasn't in work. So I started my first job at 19 was doing door-to-door sales, and that was hard. That was rough.
You selling encyclopedias or what?
yeah, so I mean that was literally like that. I went deep. Like I jumped in the deep end of sales to start with, doing door-to-door sales, and that was when I did. I worked for a company called Doryokaru Karate. So like sort of half of the week you would do door-to-door sales, and the other half you train doing karate. To sort of like get you to a point where you could then teach people yourself really and actually work for them as like a teacher. But I ended up kind of getting like I sacked that off pretty quickly because door-to-door sales was just hell. It was horrid. I hated it. And then like at 20 I ended up going on, I'm sure you've probably heard of them, I ended up doing like secondhand sales, working for cash converters, and I did 2 years with them. Yeah, so I think it was 2 years. Yeah, I did 2 years with them, and I had a bit of a what's the word, a conflict of interest, shall we say, with the
Is that a
area manager.
pawnbroker?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so they do jewelry and like just generally anything basically, like technology or whatever really, secondhand essentially. And again, I just enjoyed the idea of just helping people really. And then from there, I sort of left after that, and I moved on to Curry's PC World, which is obviously, as you know, it's it's an electronics retailer or electronics and household retailer. So they sort of do like fridges, freezers, washing machines, cookers, and then you've got like PC tech, like anything technology wise really, TVs, so you can imagine there are quite a lot of like big chunky ass sales that had to be done. Like in some instances, like I think the highest item I sold I think was 6 grand, like a 6 grand TV. Like it was that was probably the biggest highlight I did working there, to be fair. And again, I enjoyed it, but again, I started to kind of realize that it's all about money. I ended up jumping over to Carphone Warehouse shortly after that. Carphone were part of Dixon's Retail, which owned the company Curry's PC World. So changing over to them when they had jobs was pretty easy. I ended up changing over to them because you sort of got paid slightly more and you got commissions on the things that you sold. So it just made more sense really to kind of basically do the same thing near enough, but obviously get paid a little bit more for it. I think I spent probably about 3.5 years with them, like all in all. And then shortly after that, I sort of transferred over to EE, doing sort of as a call center retentions agent or a broadband retention agent. And for the first year, it was actually good. Like I actually really enjoyed it. It was quite easy. But progressively, as time went on, BT started sticking their nose in and sort of changing the way that EE ran. So it was less about sort of like, or less about a balance of welfare and business, and just entirely about business. Like welfare just went out the window. Like they would just try and get as much out of you as they possibly could without paying any attention to sort of how you felt. And I didn't like that. Like I hated that idea. And I spent probably, I think I was there for like just under 2 years. So I mean, by all this point, I was probably about 26, and 26 is when I kind of started to realize that, I mean, before that, I kind of would have liked to have had my own company, or like my own business, but it was up until then that I realized that I actually need to do something, like, because I just didn't see it as something that was sustainable. Like I couldn't stick somewhere that just didn't think about other people and only thought about money. I just didn't like it. So then my first business that I launched was a website called Moshwave. It was like a social media website basically, and I actually really liked it, and quite a few people liked it, and I got a few sign-ups on it. But the problem with it was, despite its design, like it was designed in a way where data protection was very heavy, ads were controlled, and you had like sort of like little badges that you could unlock for doing certain things and achieving certain milestones on the website. Like it was good, but the trouble is I think I was overly optimistic to say that I could compete with Facebook. And everybody was just like, they came onto my website for like 15 minutes and then just went back to Facebook. Like there just wasn't enough engagement on the website, like, and people would just have Facebook in their blood too much. So it just didn't seem sustainable to carry on. I did that for like a year. After that, I did a drop shipping website, which basically focused on doing sort of like entirely organic products, like organic healthcare or organic like shampoos, soaps, you know, items that were built like that weren't sort of like manufactured, like it's hard to explain, but stuff that wasn't manufactured using animal materials essentially, like some stuff that was completely like synthetic essentially. And I ran that for just over a year. I lost more money than I made with it. And I think the reason why that was is because I just don't think I had enough marketing experience, like how to sort of like, you know,
It's
write
often the way with drop shipping though. Drop shipping's tough.
yeah, it was hard. I think if I went back to it now, I probably could do better at it. But obviously, that's not my focus at the minute. Like I've done it and I've left it, you know, and that's that. But yeah,
There's a lot of people in that space.
hey,
There's a lot of people in that space. It's not a bad thing, but it's
like
you
people,
know.
I've seen websites do well. Like you can do well on it,
Oh
but the
yeah,
trouble is
yeah.
you have to find like trending. You have to find like a trending product, and you have to design it in the right way, and write the right emails, and do the right ads, and it's there's a lot that goes into it, more than people actually realize, I think.
Yeah.
And then after that, I sort of let that go because I just thought, you know, I'm losing more money than I'm making, so I just put that to one side. After that, I thought a good idea would be, and I did that for a year. And I think after that, I ended up doing sort of tried to open a VR studio because
Okay.
obviously this like VR was starting to kind of like take off a bit. And there weren't any VR studios in Plymouth, so I sort of literally I bought a VR machine. I sort of built out like a whole page, built out like, you know, prices and, you know, process and all that stuff. Bought all the technology. Spent £900 on the PC, 3.5 grand on the machine as well. I think like 300 quid on a headset as well. Like I literally went all out on it, literally all out. And that was literally like most of my savings gone on that. And then by this time, that was at the end of 2019, and then 2020 hit, and then we had the pandemic, which
I
completely
remember that.
yeah, completely annihilated my business because obviously everybody just went into fear mode, and you know, naturally nobody wanted to kind of come out and sort of do any sessions. So I ended up
Everyone went into drop shipping in 2020.
yeah, and so I ended up again. That just got put to one side after I did try pushing it for like a year and a half, and I just could not make it go anywhere. Nobody was interested in it, despite the fact that a few of my friends were like, "Oh yeah, once you've got it up and running, you know, we'll come do it. You know, we'll bring the kids down, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "All right, cool." So I actually have interest, but you know, no one actually did it in the end, and I was quite annoyed by that really. And that still sat downstairs to this day. Um, and then after that, I sort of came across, jumped into multi-level marketing. I ended up doing utility warehouse, and I gave that a go. And that wasn't really terribly expensive to start up. Really, it was like a 50 quid sign-up fee. So I was like, you know, why not? You know, let's do it. Let's give it a go. And I tried doing that, but I just found that as a nation, I think the UK they're very skeptical people. Like people are very skeptical. Like they're not. I think a lot of people aren't really very open-minded in the UK. So I sort of found that quite challenging to try and sell a product that, you know. And the sad bit is it actually saved. It did actually, because I've done it myself. I signed up myself, and it does save people money. But when people hear that it seems like pretty straightforward and it's going to do something good for them, people immediately go on the defensive, and I don't really understand that logic really.
The indoctrination of the country from an early age doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. So so I only got 2 signups with that, and I made no money with it, and I was just like, this is
Oh,
this is a
you were
waste.
one away. You were one away.
Yeah, I just was like, I'm not going to waste my time with this. And then obviously after that, that's when I sort of came across Pete. That was when Relentless started up, and I jumped into that. I ended up sort of not sticking around with Relentless predominantly because like a lot of like at that time I couldn't get into the node stuff. I didn't have a lot of money to do that sort of stuff, but I was jumping in a lot of coins that Relentless was saying like, oh yeah, jump in on this, and I did, and I ended up losing money on them. So it kind of put me off a bit, and I couldn't really understand the forex side of it. Pete tried to explain it to me, but I found at the time it was very complicated, and I couldn't really grasp it. So I ended up disconnecting from Relentless. And then from there, I ended up getting into high ticket affiliate marketing, which you know, as a business model, I think it does make sense, and it's a good thing in that respect. But when you actually get in that space, it's a red ocean. If you've heard the term, do you know what red ocean and blue ocean is?
I don't, and some people might not know what high ticket affiliate marketing is. So do you want to briefly cover
Yeah,
that first before going into the oceans?
So high ticket affiliate marketing is basically where you pick up a business that has high price products. Like for example, I'll give you an example. So one of them that I was debating on getting in, which I didn't in the end, is a business called Kangen Water, which basically what they do is they sell like water sort of
Alkaline
machine.
taps.
Yeah. And allegedly, like it lowers the pH level, but there was a lot of like sort of negative reviews on them, and people were saying that it doesn't actually.
It's an
make
MLM, isn't it? It used to be an MLM. Is it changed?
No, it's not MLM. It's high ticket.
Okay.
It's high ticket affiliate marketing. So affiliate marketing is basically where you work with a business and you sell their product, and you know, if you sell a product of theirs, they give you a commission of the total product price. And that's what affiliate marketing is. And high ticket is basically where you sell products which are like thousands at a time. So Kangen Water's machines, I think their starting point was like 600 quid, and then it went up to like £3,000. So if you did sell a machine, and the thing is, like with high ticket affiliate marketing, it's worldwide. So there's none of that being limited to the UK, which is a very skeptical nation. You could sell to anybody worldwide. So when you thought about it like that, it sounds like a great business model. But you know, when you actually jump into a lot of high ticket affiliate business models, most of them are just like focusing on digital courses. And when I did that, like I did 2 digital courses, so I paid £4,000 in total to get into these businesses. The first one was just full of shit, really. So it was more of a cult than anything. It was very cult like, and the what was being taught, it just didn't work. Because hang on, I'm in a video call. I'm on a video call and it's live. Yeah, it was. It just
Who's
didn't
that?
work. The missus. So like so it was just what it was teaching was, it was trying to teach you to sell to people that were already doing the same thing. So you're trying to teach, you know, you're being the fisherman and you're trying to teach other fishermen how to fish. And it was a red ocean. It just didn't make sense. But you know, again, because it was a cult, it was like, oh, you're wrong. It does work. Look, this person did it. But the thing is, most people weren't making it work. And I was just like, this just ain't working. And I ended up.
Do you think people had that mindset of it does work, you're just not making it work because they've invested £4,000 in it, so they can't acknowledge to themselves that it's not working because they've invested so much emotionally as well as financially into it? £4,000's a significant amount of money.
Well, it was £2,000 to start with. It was £2,000 per program when I did it.
Right.
So I spent £2,000 on the first one, and I was just like, I'm just not making any progress. I spent like a year doing it, and I made nothing like it. And I did exactly what was taught, like exactly to the T, and it just didn't work. And I was just tearing my hair out, really. And I came across another guy who did actually go to that same business, came out of it, made some money with it, but actually wanted to kind of do something himself and make it, like, improve it. And to be fair, I will defend them. Like the business that they had, it was a lot more ethical. It was a lot more real. You had a lot more access to help. There was a lot more support. You know, they really did try and go all out to try and help people that sort of bought in. But I still felt like, and like they had different sort of sales approaches. Like they had, like, you know, not just selling to people that are already in it, but selling to like MLM, like people who did MLM, other business models, dropshipping. Like it was a lot broader. Like the audience was a lot broader with them, and I did make money with them, but nowhere near as much as what I had spent. Like I think I made like 450 quid with them, and when I'd spent £2,000 to get into their business, and it was good, but I just think I still kind of felt like my gut was telling me I'm still selling to a red ocean. And like red ocean and blue ocean is basically where a blue ocean is essentially where you're the business person or the shark, should we say, and you're going in an area where there's a lot of fish, so a lot of people to sell to, like people you can sell to. Whereas a red ocean is the opposite, like you're a shark and everybody else is a shark as well, and there's no fish to eat. So, and I just kind of felt that high ticket affiliate marketing was a very red ocean kind of business, because it just, a lot of people were just saying sell to people that are already doing the same thing, or sell to other people that are kind of exploring affiliate marketing and MLM. And it just didn't make sense to me. And then after that, I sort of disconnected from that, and I spoke to, this was kind of like at the point where I started talking to Pete again. Pete ended up sort of getting me to buy back into Relentless, because he said like everything's changed, that, you know, Relentless has made a lot of improvements. And to be fair to him, like obviously having someone that is now back in like Relentless, there have been some massive improvements, some massive changes. Like the Forex course is just far easier to understand. It's a lot more digestible. It's a lot more piece by piece, as opposed to a load of verbal vomit.
Verbal vomit. We spent a lot of time doing the verbal vomit.
But it just it's a lot more digestible, a lot easier to understand. And this is basically where I am now at 32, still hustling away, like almost coming up to like 8 or 9 years on, and it's hard work. But once I've got this down, like once I've got Forex down, and I entirely believe that it can be done, predominantly because I know that there are other people who are working with Relentless, have done it. So if other people can do it, so can I. And that's the kind of approach that I sort of take with any sort of new experience, I suppose. If someone else can do it, I can do it as well. Because, you know, biologically, you know, mentally, physically, I'm not really any different from any other human being. And if another human being can do something, so can I. It's just a case of actually learning it and spending time on it. And it's tough. It's really, really difficult, I find. Not the digesting the content side, but actually the exposure and getting it right, and, you know, doing it right. And it's hard, but I know that sooner or later it's going to get to a point where I will do it efficiently, and then obviously I can pass the exam, I can start making a bit more money. And I think from there is where I'd like to kind of get into like mechanics, or sort of opening up a like a sort of a food vending service, or like a food, like, you know, the big giant trucks that sit in the middle of town and sell food. I'd love to do that, like get into the food industry as well, because the food industry is a good sort of place to make a lot of money, because obviously it's always in demand. People need to eat. So I think that's a good industry. And mechanics, just purely because cars are fucking expensive. And I'd like to learn a skill that will save me money, and then from there, like, and to be honest, I enjoy stripping things down and building stuff anyway. Like I've done PC engineering, like I've got qualifications in it. I'm brilliant with PCs and laptops, and I don't think cars are really much different. They're just a little bit more advanced, I think. Like cars are the same. It's just take bits out, put stuff in. It's realistically what it is. And again, it's just a case of learning it. But that's definitely. I'm on a video call. What?
Dinner in about 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, cool. But yeah, I think cars are kind of much the same. So I think that's like next steps, definitely. I'm in the crypto space as well. Like I'm like a big sort of supporter of Solana at the minute. Like I've got Solana and NFTs, and that's slowly growing as well. I think I've taken that from about 400 quid up to about 700 quid so far. So it's growing slowly as the market starts to recover. So I would have that, you know, trading with Relentless, and then either mechanics or a food vending service. And like I can kind of start branching out and growing like different like forms of income from there, really. So that's kind of the plan. That's what the plan is.
Having a plan is good. A lot of people don't have plans. So you have done a lot, from MLM to affiliate marketing to sales, amongst other things. What at the moment is the reason that you've got your focus on FX and becoming a funded trader? What makes you excited about that over the other stuff, you know, drop shipping, affiliate marketing? What's the current pull on funded trading?
So I think, like, as someone that's done like sales and marketing, and well, I mean, and don't get me wrong, when I did high ticket affiliate marketing and MLM, it taught me a hell of a lot about marketing and psychology and stuff like that. So it's definitely stuff I took away from that. And but even then, in those spaces, and having done sales for 10 years, like, there's a lot of like, I guess I've grown a bit tired of just trying to sell to people all the time, and it's draining. It is really draining. And I think the good thing about Forex is there's no selling. That you don't have to sell anything. It's just log on, look at the charts, read them, do some trades, and then that's that sorted. Like, it's real. Like, when you get your head around all the knowledge, and you actually get good at the skill, it's so simple. It's easy, very, very easy, and it's just straightforward. You can just get up, have some breakfast, have a cup of tea, have a shower, come in, spend a couple hours on the charts, and then that's it. Your day's done. Like, it's there's no going out to different locations, going and selling to people. There's no grinding. It's just simple. It's straightforward, and there's not very much in the make money or business building space that does that, and it's massively profitable if you can actually get good at the skill. And I think that's what I like about it. I like that idea. And I think it took me a while to realize it. Like, I had a conversation with someone about like finding what makes me feel fulfilled. And I like really thought about it because I'd done so many different things. I've done so much. And I thought these things did fulfill me. I thought sales fulfilled me, but in actual fact, when I really thought about it, I liked the idea. I don't know. It's a curse and a blessing to have this type of feeling, but I think making money makes me feel fulfilled. Like, being able to make money and making things work is what gives me fulfillment. And Forex definitely scratches that. It scratches that itch. I think, if I can get it working and it works efficiently, it gives me fulfillment in life, and that's kind of what brings happiness, I think, is being fulfilled. So.
And why is, and you're a smart cookie, you know a lot about the internet, you know a lot about information, you know where to go to get the right info to get you to the goals that you're after. We live in an age where you can get information at your fingertips 24/7, and a lot of stuff is available on YouTube and the internet and stuff and things like that. Why Relentless? Why are you paying us 50 quid a month to take you through stuff which you could argue you could get similar stuff yourself for free Googling stuff?
I would disagree, and I disagree with that statement. And the reason why I disagree with that statement is because when people try and get stuff for free, I don't think you value it as much if you're getting it for free. You don't feel obligated as much as what you would if you've paid for a service. And B, when you try to get things for free, you're not wrong. You can go and get like some of the information for free, but it's all disorganized. You've got this here, and then you've got that over there, and then you've got that up here, and this down here. And, yes, you can get all this stuff, but something that Pete said to me is with Relentless, you've got piece 1, piece 2, piece 3, piece 4, piece 5, piece 6, and it's all in like a very ordered structure. So, and it's more like a clear path to being a funded trader, as opposed to, a little bit over here and a little bit there and this, and then there's that down here. And, it's if you try and get the information for free, it's all complete, it's unorganized, and you don't really know where to apply these different bits of information. Whereas if you follow a path that someone's laid out for you, you don't have to lay your own path. You don't have to build your own path. You just walk down someone else's path that they've already built. So it just makes sense. And I think the knowledge and the support that Relentless give to people is absolutely worth £50 a month. As someone that has paid hundreds of pounds or thousands of pounds in the past for knowledge, just knowledge, £50 a month is good. Don't get me wrong. I think, £50 a month to a lot of people is it's a hard subscription to pay, I think, especially with the way the world is at the minute. But the value that £50 a month gives you is it's out of this world. It's the knowledge that's within Relentless is absolutely worth the £50 a month. It's worth that extra day of work. It's worth sacrificing all of your, fucking subscriptions of Netflix and Amazon and all that bullshit that doesn't even feed your brain. It doesn't give you any skill. It's a waste of time in comparison to the £50 a month that you could spend and actually gain a skill for life that will feed you and your family and your fucking grandchildren as well if you want.
And particularly, and it's great because you maximize the knowledge. You gorge yourself on the COP, the DCSR, the trade and study. You're on it all the time, so you're utilizing every aspect. I liken it to a gym membership.
Hey, I get every fucking pound of value.
You're going to the gym every day, using every machine twice.
I get it all, mate. I will make the best of that £50 a month I can.
Well, why not? It's all there for you, so you might as well utilize it. So where does, because you're big into personal development, you're big into knowledge, you're big into reading and stuff, what does the next 11 months look like for John Mears? What have you set out for 2023 goals so I can get you back on a call in 6-7 months' time to hold you accountable?
Well, in an ideal world, I would like to be proficient at trading and taking the mock exam by the end of March. That's kind of where I want to be. And I think last week or this week, sorry, because we're still this week. This week was absolutely fucking abysmal. Like, it's probably the worst week that I've had trading.
Well, if you were trading Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with that high impact news, then you've not been listening.
No, I traded. I did 2 trades I think I did 2 trades Monday, which wasn't bad.
Okay.
But I mean, like, I was down by a couple $100, so it wasn't horrific. And then Tuesday was the bull breaker. Like, I ended up being down like $4,000. But I think the reason why I ended up losing so much fucking money is because I think I lost a bit of control on Tuesday. I wasn't as disciplined as I should have been. I was
not following your plan, revenge trading, FOMO, all of the above.
Yeah, I wasn't following the plan. I was placing trades on feelings and emotions and not by logic. Like, I don't know why. I don't know that. I think Tuesday I just lost control a bit. I think I placed a trade and it didn't go the way I wanted to, and it pissed me off. And I was like, no, I'm going to make that money back. I'm going to make it back. And I started trading on that anger, and resentment towards the market. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have just, either A, stopped, or B, stopped at trade 2, which trade 2 was negative. But again, maybe that was down to my emotions. I wasn't thinking straight. And Wednesday,
build it into your plan. Build it into your trade plan.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I've got this now.
We've got the journal.
Yeah, and I think that's going to massively help. I think. But yeah, I think next week I'm going to be going in with a lot more discipline, and hopefully I'll have a much better week. But I'd like to. But prior to this week, my weeks haven't been bad. Like, I've been losing. I had been losing a lot less. Like, last week, I think I was down by like $200, which to me is a fucking win, to be honest, because weeks and weeks and weeks prior, I was down by thousands at a time. So to be down 1 week by $200, like, that to me is a win because I'm losing less.
Just for the sake of the tapes, I don't know who's watching this. This isn't your money, is it?
No.
You're not losing thousands of dollars a week. You're still in the learning phase. This is not real money. This isn't your money. You're still playing on demo because you're very early on in your FX journey.
Correct. Relentless will only ever put you on a demo account to start with. They will not encourage you to play with live money because that's just dangerous territory and very irresponsible. So it's only ever demo account money. But 2 weeks prior to that, I was up on the demo account, which again was just fantastic. Like, I loved that. And I have had, up until this week, I had been losing a lot less and making more. And I think this week was just, I haven't had a particularly good week anyway. Like, the car broke down 3 times. in January, and that's £450 I don't really have, but
that is real money.
yeah, that's real money, and I don't really have that kind of money at the minute. So it's been a very stressful week, and that's probably played into it as well, as being a bit stressed, my emotions being higher. I had been sort of placing silly trades and being silly on the charts. So next week I won't be doing that. But
you epitomise, I think, what Relentless is about in terms of just the basic word relentless. You've been trying different stuff because you want to get to a certain level in your life to achieve certain things. And I think you give yourself a hard time because you're significantly younger than I am, but have significantly more experience than I did, and realised a lot earlier than I did that the corporate 9 to 5, which is never 9 to 5, it's like 7 till 10, isn't for you. But you are, there's various stuff, and if anyone's followed you on Facebook or anything, they'll know your story. It's been tough. There's been lots of ups and downs. There's been lots of knockbacks, not just mentally but physically as well. But you've stuck with it, and you've stuck with the right people, and you surrounded yourself with the right people, and you have stayed relentless in your approach to life. Like you do get the knocks, but you get back up again, don't you?
yeah, absolutely. You've got to. Like, I think the only way that you're actually going to succeed in going self-employed in some form and having your own business is by to keep getting back up again. Nobody won by giving up. Nobody wins by giving up. The only way that people win with business is by to keep going, no matter how hard it gets. I think in my entire journey through all different business ideas and trying different stuff, I think I've lost like about 12 grand. Like, I'm 12 grand down overall. And like, I think it's a lot of fucking money, but I'm not willing. I can't face the reality of spending my life that I was given. You only live once. You can't get your time back. I refuse to acknowledge spending my time, 45, 50 hours a week, fulfilling somebody else's dream where they can sit at a pool in Italy somewhere, and just take 4 weeks off because their business is ticking over, because you're grinding away for their business. You're paying for their holidays. You're paying for their time off. You're paying for their 100 grand a year salary. And I just can't face that reality. I can't. I'd rather be dead. So my motto is get rich or die trying. That's my motto, Andy.
But and it is, without getting too much into details on this, get yourself a 200k funded account, make yourself the 2-3% a month, and you've got your 12k back within 3-4 months. Now it may take you 6 months to 9 months to 12 months to get to that stage where you know what you're doing on that funded stuff, but I think you've grasped it relatively quickly, the potential of what being a funded trader can give to you.
Absolutely. Like,
which is why you keep turning up 7:30 every morning on Trade and Study. You're there.
I turn up 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning every time, as much as I can, because I know it's an opportunity that I can't miss. It would be stupid not to put that work in. It really would. Like, even when Pete's not there, I'm in Trade and Study, like with anyone else that joins, and I will be doing it. Like, I hold myself accountable because I owe it to myself, and I just refuse to face that reality where I'm fulfilling somebody else's dream. I need to fulfill my own dream. I just can't. Like I said, I'd rather be dead. I just don't think there's no worse life than spending your own life force, building someone else's dream. It just makes absolutely no sense to me, and I can't comprehend how people are okay with that. But again, I think that's social conditioning. That's the way that people have been conditioned to think at an early age, is go to school, get a career, because that's success. And it's not. Success is, like Pete said to me in the past, is success is having a lifetime of holidays and not a holiday of a lifetime. It's backwards. And that's exactly what the rich want you to think. It sounds like an all big conspiracy theory, but you can see it in the economy right now. The wealth is being drained from the poor and the middle class. Like, the rich are buying up houses, they're buying up businesses, they're buying up land. You know, they do not give a shit about the working class. They do not care. Like they will drive people into the ground. You know, energy on the rise, taxes going up. You know, it's not for no reason. It's because they are draining the wealth out of anybody that isn't rich. You know, and you can't. There is only one place that is going, and it's not going to be a pleasant place. So I honestly do feel sorry for anyone that still believes in that thought that, oh, a career is the right thing to do. It's not. No, it's not. It really isn't. You know, it just makes no sense to me. Like the way that the UK is going at the minute is horrific. If things don't change fast, you know, poverty, crime, and homelessness, it's already risen. You know, the NHS is on its way to being privatized. There's a lot of parts of the NHS that have already been privatized. A lot of people are thinking about going private because, you know, the rich or the government have made it so inaccessible. It's so fucking inaccessible to the average person to go to the doctors or the dentist or even the hospital. You've got queues of people waiting outside A&E. People are dying because they're not being seen to. And you think that's just the way it is. No, it's not. It's not the way it is. That's because the rich are draining the wealth out of the lower and middle class. It's because they're trying to make more money, and it just doesn't make sense. It's that's not life. That's not a future. That's not a future I can face. So to have an opportunity like this is an opportunity like no other. And you know, if you're watching, it would be stupid not to get on board. It really would be stupid, because you can completely change your life by becoming a trader.
Thanks, mate. That is really nice of you. And Peter's just popped up a message saying that the dedication from John is relentless. I popped it up on the screen.
Thanks,
so
Pete.
Pete is
I was on a bit of a rant there, Pete, so I couldn't.
I didn't want to interrupt. Right, buddy. Really appreciate your time. We've been chatting for 45 minutes.
Well, you say we have, but it's more like I've been ranting. I've ranted for 45 minutes.
It's always good. It's always good to have a rant, mate. It's always.
I can't help it. I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about the idea, and I'm absolutely passionate about trying to wake people up from the reality that they're facing. You know, from social conditioning. It's awful. It really is. And I just before we do disconnect, another thought that I had, and certainly something that I think is absolutely true, is if you go back hundreds of years, you had people in slavery, and what these people did is they went to work they traded their time to the rich, so the rich could give them shelter. Whereas now you can sit there and you can say that slavery has been abolished and it's legal, but what we do now is we trade our time for money, which pays for food and shelter. It's no different. It's exactly the same. The only difference is you've got one, you know, piece of that equation, which is money. It's the same. Fundamentally, it's the same. And it's not, that's not life. That's not living. And I don't understand how people can sit there and say that is life, because it's not. You know, I'd much rather have all of my time and have money and have the freedom to do what I want, when I want, how I want, you know, and with who I want as well. It just baffles me, man. It does. It baffles me.
But you're doing something about it. And as Pete's just messaged again, she's linked up to StreamYard. You know, he points out that you work nights. But you're on TNS pretty much every morning. So
it takes a toll on my body clock. But unfortunately, you know,
if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Yeah, like you're not going to get a result if you don't put the work in. So I recognize that I have to put the work in to get the result, and I want to get that result as fast as possible. So I'll put as much time into it as I can, at unfortunately the expense of my health. But it's got to be done. Like I will take that small loss to completely change it. One thing I will say though is once I am funded, Daddy's going back to the gym. will be going back to the gym 3 to 5 days a week, and I'll get back in shape, and I'll put the muscle on that I lost and cut down on weight, eat healthier, because I'll be able to afford to do those things. And I love it, but I love the gym, but I just don't have the money for it at the minute. And it's not my priority. I've got to get my finances sorted first before I can put my health up again, But I will be doing it. That's one of my other New Year's resolutions, is going back to the gym this year. And I will do it once I pass that fucking exam. And I will pass it.
You will. And you got to plan the work, and you got to work the plan. But you have that mindset that you will do it. And if it's all right with you, it'd be great to get you back on in 6 months' time. Because there's no doubt in my mind that you're not going to be a funded trader in 2023. And then it's just going to grow and explode from there. And then once you've got that financial freedom, you can do whatever you want with it, which is what you're going to do. So huge thanks from me and all the other members, because I know you give a lot back to our community as well.
What I will do for you, though, what I will do is, once I am funded and I've fucking paid off my debt and put everything back to how it should be, I will definitely be taking you three out for dinner, 100%.
Oh, we're holding you to that. We
will live stream that. Accountable. He's already holding me to account. I will, absolutely. I will. Once I've got some money in the bank and everything's looking good, I will come up. I'll come up north, pay for a hotel for a couple of days, and I'll take the three of you out for dinner. Absolutely.
I'd love you, John. Thank you very much. That is amazing. All right, buddy. I will cut this off. Oh, hang on. Although Vicky, who has been listening, has popped up with that as well. So all three of us are on this call now. So no, mate, that'll be amazing. Absolutely amazing. But if you let me get the champagne, but yeah, you can get the food. That's fine.
Sounds good. I'll take that.
All right, mate. Have a great evening. I will see you on Trade and Study next week, and we will jump back on, because everyone's going to want to follow your progress. Now it's been put out to the universe. Everyone's going to be holding you accountable and asking you about stuff.
Especially the food.
Absolutely. All right, mate. Have a good evening.
And yourself, guys. See you later.
See you later. Cheers, bud.